Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis, and in this video I just basically want to explain Season 19, the loop of it, and try and give you some tips to make sure your run through this season is as efficient as possible. Now, the general little info tab kind of gives you a run through. You're going to collect Seraph Key Codes by doing different activities in the system. All of them. Strikes, Gambit, Crucible, Wellspring, whole bunch of stuff. Public events, weekly Witch Queen missions. They're all slightly different. I'll cover those here in just a little bit. Then you're going to go into Heist Battlegrounds once you have at least 500 Seraph Key Codes. It's not required, but you can't open the chest without them. Once you open the Seraph chest, you're going to get Seraphic Umbral energy. At a base level, you're going to get 10 Seraphic Umbral energy every time you open the Seraph chest. And you're also going to get seasonal gear, armor or weapons, kind of a random roll in those. Then, once you get the Seraphic Umbral energy, you'll combine that with Umbral Engrams as usual to focus into specific weapons or armor if you want. And then, of course, we're going to have kind of our upgrades as well. You're going to be getting the Exoframe modules from your seasonal challenges. So 2 of the challenges for the first 7 weeks are going to give you Exoframe modules so you can unlock this as you go. I actually did a separate video, excuse me, about all of these upgrades and kind of the path that I would go through to make it the most beneficial to you, and also leading into trying to get Deepsight Resonance weapons. So if you want to check that one out, link is literally probably on the front of the screen. You'll probably also see it at the end of the video. So check that one out if you're looking for upgrades and kind of where to spend your Exoframe modules so you can have a decent run through. But the first thing is Seraph Key Codes. Seraph Key Codes are these guys right here. You use 500 to open the chest in the Heist Battleground, and that's how you get your seasonal gear. Now, where do you get your Seraph Key Codes? As I said, all over the place. And it kind of just varies on difficulty. Base level stuff. Heroic public events, Gambit matches, Crucible matches, Vanguard ops. It's going to be anywhere from like the 250 to about 300-ish range. I've seen like a regular public event give 219. I've seen a, Vanguard ops or a Crucible match give just over 300. There's some variation there on the numbers, but anywhere from 250 to say 300 is average for most of those. Then if you kind of bump it up in specialization or difficulty with something like a Nightfall or something like Wellspring, I've got in the realm of like 550 to about a little over 600. Now, the surprising one is this guy right here, the weekly campaign mission. Now, I know this week it's Ritual. It's the longest mission, but there are weeks the mission is going to be shorter. You can do it on hero difficulty, and I got 1,064. Now, the capacity on the key codes is 2,000. So if you do 2 of those mission run-throughs, you'll be at the cap until we can bump that cap up to 4,000, but that'll be later in the season. So again, if you want to do a Gambit match, Crucible match, whatever it may be, you'll get, 2 to 300. Higher level Nightfalls, Wellsprings, specialized stuff like that. That'll get you 600. That weekly mission playthrough, even on Hero, it's going to be worth about 1,000. But again, public events, if you do them on Heroic, I've seen 256. I've seen a little over 300. Heroic public events in a quick pinch, not a bad way to go. So you've got different ways to get your Seraph Key Codes, but generally just most of the activities you do around the system are going to be giving you some. Now, when you open the chest at the end of Heist Battlegrounds, you're going to get 2 things. One, you're going to get Seraphic Umbral energy. This guy right here, you use this for your focusing your Umbral Engrams. We've been through that. I'll give you a couple tips here in a second. The other thing you're going to be getting besides gear is Resonant Stems. Usually it's 2 from the normal chest and 2 from the Seraph chest. Now, the Resonance amp is used to allow these resonant sims to kind of turn into override frequencies. It's something from like Destiny 1. And what those lead to are war mine nodes. There's 6 on the moon. I made a guide for the moon ones. There's 6 on Europa. I made a guide for those. And then when we actually get the Operation Seraph Shield, which is the exotic mission, there's 4 in there. Stay tuned, that video will be coming. But if you want to find these videos, they're also on my channel. I'll show you where each one of those are at. They're pretty easy to find. So you get the 2 currencies. You get Resonant Stems, 2 from each chest. On average, I've seen 3, but usually just expect 2 from each chest. And then you get your Seraphic Umbral energy. You also usually get a piece of gear from the Seraph chest, whether it's a piece of armor or a weapon, either way. Now, a couple pieces of advice on the Seraphic Umbral energy. You'll notice this engram here and this engram here. These are considered random rolls for the weapons next to them. So the Ikelos weapons, you can get one of these 4 weapons from this engram. It has a chance to be a Deepsight, resonance weapon with the red border. Theoretically, if you focus an engram, you also have a chance to get a red border, but it's not guaranteed. Same thing down here. It has a chance to be any of these 6 weapons. But you'll notice the cost difference is key. Legendary shards, 15. Seraphic Umbral energy, 15. If you focus directly into something, it is 50 shards and 30 energy. So early on in the season, when you have none of the frames unlocked, roll the dice here. Your Umbral Engrams are going to be much better spent here. Up here, it's slightly different. Again, the random roll still is 25 shards, slightly more, but still half of the normal focusing. But you'll notice it doesn't have the Seraphic Umbral energy, but it still has the Resonant Stems. So my advice on the Resonant Stems, unless you are specifically going after one of these weapons, is if you get enough Resonant Stems, work on kind of peppering those little collectibles throughout so you can have those done. Because once those are done, all you're going to do is collect Resonant Stems to use them here on Ikelos Engrams. And you can choose. If you have Seraphic Umbral energy you need to use, dump your Umbral Engrams in here. If you have Umbral Engrams, but no Seraph energy, work on some Ikelos weapons. But do the random rolls. Now, when you get like 5 of the 6 patterns and you're like, I just need the linear fusion rifle, yeah, then you could focus up once you've unlocked that later in the season. But I would say early on, do the random rolls. Your currencies are going to be spent much better that way. So you've got some Seraph Key Codes from doing activities around the system. You've got some Umbral Engrams, of which I don't have any right now, but that's okay. And the other piece of this equation is the Heist Battlegrounds. Now, the Battlegrounds, specifically the one from the Helm, are the ones that you can actually open the Seraph chests. Ask me how I learned this the hard way on the opening day. If you're on this one, like a directory-specific, like Heist Battleground Moon-specific one, you're not going to see the difficulty modifier, and you cannot open the Seraph chest. So make sure it is the one in the Helm. That was unfortunate that I learned that the hard way. Now, one thing to know about Heist Battlegrounds, they are going to feel more difficult than normal. Power level is going to basically be like contest. All combatants in this activity will be at least 5 points over your current power level, and I'm guessing like the boss and some majors are probably going to be a little higher, but they're not going to exactly tell you that. So it's going to feel a little harder. So my recommendation, try and play some class that you find has survivability. Try and lean a little more into resilience so you're not dying all the time if you are, if you have the ability to do so. Maybe you need like restoration on a healing class, maybe overshields on Void. I'm doing Arc just because I'm kind of having fun clearing stuff and Volt Shot and all of those pieces to it because I've got some strong grenades as a Titan, but try and play a survivable subclass. You've also got Barrier, and you've also got Unstoppable Champions. Now, Unstoppable on grenades seems to be the better way to go, but try and help your team. And 1, try and stay alive with as much resilience and damage mitigation as possible. And 2, try and be helpful with the champions. Because I feel like there's sometimes when I go through that I'm the only one stopping the unstoppable champions from just running around the map. So bring options with you, whether it's a grenade launcher. I don't love the way hand cannons feel, but I'll cover that in a separate video. And bring something for barrier, whether it's a bow, arbalist, wish ender, doesn't matter. Find options that work for you and try and help your team in this thing because that's how you're going to finish it. Now, I will say I think the Europa boss room is probably a little harder, but, each of the battlegrounds has some kind of ups and downs and challenges. The Death Tongue Choristers are going to be a bit of a challenge, though. I'll cover those in the guide, but basically if you see a Death Tongue Chorister spawn, it's a little guy with a target, and you'll get like an audio cue and some voice dialogue about it. Nuke that guy as fast as possible, because if the alarm goes off, you're going to get suppressed. Makes that section even harder. But that's your cycle. Get your key codes, go to the Heist Battlegrounds, open the chest, get your Seraphic Umbral energy, rinse, and repeat. Upgrades, we'll get more of these as we go through the season. I've got my guide over those. As you get Resonant Stems, you can either go get the collectibles, or you can spend them here on Ikelos Engrams. And other than that, don't forget about the reputation. If you do get a decent set of armor and you wear that through the Heist Battlegrounds, you'll get more reputation as you go through it, so you can speed through a little bit faster. But that is pretty much the general run-through of the season. I wanted to post this one up today because the dungeon is going to be tomorrow, but I will be playing the dungeon. I will be playing that over on twitch.tv/Ebontis, so come hang out over there while I work on the dungeon. Might do a group run first, just to understand the mechanics, and then probably a solo run for the guide that I'll be putting out. That will be literally right at reset. We'll see what Xur has, if it's anything good, and then probably dive in there. But yeah, this season is mainly the Heist Battlegrounds. It does feel challenging. I kind of enjoy that. And it does seem like Deepsights are dropping, even though I'm just unlucky on the Ikelos ones. I think I've got like 11 red borders so far. Granted, I've played a lot, but I've still seen quite a few decent of those. So if you found this video helpful, please drop a like below. Leave a comment if there's some, very important thing that I may have missed out on. But I think I covered most of the tidbits, at least of how the season functions, the currencies, and other stuff in here for you guys. So drop anything in the comments that I may have missed, or you can just say hello down there. As I said, if you want to find me on Twitch, it's Ebontis. On Twitter, it's Ebontis. Right here on YouTube, as I said, more videos, dungeon guides, and lots of stuff coming your way. So please hit that subscribe button. Also hit that alert bell next to it. Turn those notifications on so you see when I drop a video. Helps my videos make it to you through the world of YouTube. And for all of you guys out there, YouTube members or Patreon subs, thank you for the extra support. Everybody, though, you guys are fantastic. Thanks for all the support recently, and I'll see you soon.